is to bring a level of confidence out in the recruits that they themselves didn't know that they had. They hesitate and second guess themselves, but once they're put to it and they have no choice but to do it, they surprise themselves. With the slide for life, the water alone is intimidating for the recruits because nobody wants to get wet and go for a swim. But also the heights play a big role too. As long as they rely on their training and the technique that was instructed to them, they'll have no problem doing it.
Hey, stop, 3! Aye, sir! Roll over, 3! Aye, sir!
We simply do not let them quit. When they want to quit or they think that they cannot go any longer, we let them know and we show them that they can push past those boundaries and come out on top with the mission accomplished.
Kick your left leg down. No, kick your left leg down to get momentum to get on top of the rope.
Marine Corps boot camp is longer and more demanding than basic training of other services. The Marines have resisted a trend towards softening basic training as a way of attracting recruits, sticking instead to an approach it feels has worked for decades. The Marine Corps has made efforts to control excesses and brutal training methods that are a legendary aspect of boot camp. In the mid-1970s, hundreds of drill instructors were punished for abusing recruits. Changes were made, including monitoring DI's training methods.
Aye, sir! Aye, sir!
But most changes were subtle enough not to diminish the fundamental toughness of Marine Corps boot camp. There is a debate among Marines, with some holding on to the idea that the harsher practices of the past made better Marines. The challenge for the Marine Corps is finding the balance between abusive methods and the need to train an elite fighting force disciplined to fight and die on command.
Hey, are we gonna maybe all-body weapon, battlefield, turkey pig? I don't know. Sound about right?
Yes, sir.
Now you're dead, Blake.
Yes.
Because you didn't do the simple stuff.
The drill instructors are the central figures here at Parris Island and the principal influence on the lives of the recruits. There's a drill instructor with the recruits 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. The drill instructors are truly icons. They embody the very best of our Corps.
You're not chopping a tree down. Hang in your box. Ash!
They teach, they train, they mentor,
Take a knee.
and they lead with a passion that is almost an obsession.
Our mission is to train these recruits. The only way to train them is to instruct them in different aspects, dealing with the Marine Corps and becoming a basic Marine.
Son, whoa. You're gonna hurt yourself. Grab here, hit it, come across.
So without thorough instruction and remediation, there would be no Marine. It would just be somebody stressed out all the time, not knowing what's going on.
Boot camp is full of details about becoming a Marine, but mostly it brings into focus for recruits the warrior ethos of the Marine Corps.
We start off with every Marine's a rifleman. I don't care if it's a female Marine, a male Marine, a cook, baker, candlestick maker, whatever, everybody is a basic rifleman in the Marine Corps. Everyone must qualify with a service rifle.
Because every Marine is a rifleman, the rifle range is the most important training that we give the recruits while at boot camp. This is an outdoor classroom. We're teaching them the art of marksmanship. Our philosophy out here is no stress with the recruits.
Hand goes, you can get it. Same thing with you, recruit. This hand extended all the way out.
Every one of these recruits, when they're down here, are going to have lots of individual instruction taught by the coaches.
Forward hand extended all the way out.
We find that it produces a better result if we have that one-on-one time.
Head left dog target. That's you, 27. Left dog target.
It's all about teaching and getting that young person to be able to operate the weapon in the way that we want them to, and also hit the target. And that shows how much emphasis we put on marksmanship.
The teaching at the rifle range also has a larger meaning. It sets a tone, reinforced throughout boot camp, that Marines pass on knowledge and that they are connected to their history and to those who came before them.
We teach them history and traditions of the Marine Corps. So they understand what it's like to be a Marine. They understand what it was like to be a Marine 100 years ago.
I don't think you can teach it didactically. It doesn't happen at a chalkboard. It's the culture, again, and the transmission of the culture's values from one generation to the next.
They understand that they cannot allow those who have gone before to be let down. They know they can never let that legacy die. That's why history is so important. It's part of our ethos. It's part of who we are.
The official birth date of the Marine Corps is November 10th, 1775, when the Second Continental Congress authorized 2 battalions of Continental Marines as landing forces with the fleet.
Marines come from the sea. We have fought as a component with the Navy since 1775. Marines were never great in number. A small corps, volunteers, adventurous, soldiers of the sea, if you would. They were equally at home on the ships of the fleet and serving with the Army.
The Marines distinguished themselves in an array of regional conflicts during their first 150 years, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. It was the First World War that earned the Marines the reputation as the first to fight.
They charged through the wheat fields and into the woods of a place called Belleau Woods in France in 1918 to thwart a major German offensive against the capital of France, Paris. Belleau Wood was a great turning point for the Marines. They lost more men on that first day than it had in casualties total for the 167 years that preceded it.
Belleau Wood is one of 3 touchstone battles in Marine Corps history. The others are Iwo Jima in 1945 and the Chosin Reservoir in Korea in 1950.
Iwo Jima probably dominates even the other 2. This was 1945, the 4th year of the war. The Navy, Army, Marines, and the Army Air Force were advancing steadily towards Japan. There had been victory on every front. But the closer we got to Japan, the bloodier it was getting. Iwo Jima was going to be the biggest and bloodiest. This was a 36-day battle. It cost 26,000 Marines. The symbol of it, of course, was the raising of the American flag on top of Mount Suribachi. And every Japanese soldier on that island could see that flag going up on the 4th day of the battle. And it was kind of like their death knell that was coming.
The photograph of the flag raising on Iwo Jima became more than a symbol of the bloodiest battle in Marine Corps history. That one iconic image captured the ethos of the Marines.
You see 6 troops. 5 of them are U.S. Marines, and one of them is a Navy corpsman. Working together, struggling together, lifting this flag in a very stiff wind on a very dangerous and exposed battlefield. Here was the icon of the whole war, the teamwork and the victory. If you walk around the Marine Memorial, the great carved statue at Arlington Cemetery, you'll see carved into the granite the names of so many battles that go back to the 1770s and the Revolutionary War. There's some blank spaces. There's room for other battles to come.
Good morning, Series 4016!
Today we are training day 43. We have the actual obstacle course and a 3-mile individual effort run.
So everything comes from within, does it not? Yes, ma'am! So dig it deep and get some!
It is the exact same course, same events, same obstacles that the males run.
You're gonna wanna have to do it, because no one else is gonna do it for you.
One aspect of boot camp that remains unchanged is how the Marine Corps trains women. Alone among all branches of the U.S. military, the Marine Corps trains male and female recruits separately.
The 4th Battalion, one of our 4 training battalions here at Parris Island, is the only gender-segregated battalion within the Department of Defense. There is the age-old attraction that exists between boys and girls, men and women, that by keeping them separate, we eliminate that.
Almost there, Clark. You can do this, recruit.
But as far as training is concerned, we're along the same lines as our male counterparts, which has not always been the case. You talk to a female Marine 20 years ago when we were still learning how to properly apply our makeup, making sure that everything matched, properly assuring that a female could wear the high heels and walk across the stage in a ladylike manner. So the strides that we have made, for me to be able to say our training is aligned with the males, is a huge success for the Marine Corps and for the Department of Defense at large.
They have to meet all the same graduation requirements. In other words, there's no difference in the Marine Corps between what a female recruit and a male recruit gets here at Parris Island.
That integration, the idea that we train as we fight, is the next step in the training process. The young Marines leave here, and then they get integrated, and we're training together at that point.
Tell me what you've been working for every night if you can't get over this bar.
About 6% of the Marine Corps are women. They serve in nearly all military occupations. But Department of Defense regulations prohibit women from serving in direct combat roles. Increasingly, those distinctions are blurred on the battlefield.
I think that that's the great debate. I think that clearly everyone is seeing those lines blurred, and I think that we are fairly integrated in those combat zones. And that is the great debate, the great issue that's at hand right now.
There are certainly certain elements of our Marine Corps today that permit technology to level the playing field. Fixed-wing aircraft, helicopters, and the like. The policy in the Department of Defense right now, of course, is that we will not allow women to be assigned in combat arms. As a hypothetical in the future, any time that we can leverage technology and equalize the battlefield, then that will provide us with an opportunity to capitalize on women in combat.
But for many, both outside and especially inside the Marine Corps, the question is whether women can attain the warrior status of their male counterparts.
It's 2 different biologies. I don't think anybody would argue with that. One of the big problems women have physically is that they can't handle the physical stress of carrying loads over rough terrain for long periods of time. Are there women, individuals, who can be competent warriors? I think so. Relatively few. Are there large groups of women who can be warriors? No. Never has happened. I don't think it ever will happen.
One more time, recruit. Touch it. Now say it.
I think it starts with when you ask a young female recruit why they joined the Marine Corps. 90% of them will say, I joined to defend my country. And if that isn't saying the warrior ethos is there for a female recruit, I don't know what else we could say. It's as much a part of the female psyche as it is of the male psyche. That's why they joined.
Left foot, left foot, left foot, left foot.
And that warrior ethos is all over everything that we do on and off the battlefield.
All recruits must meet a series of graduation requirements. Each recruit, male and female, must also pass a final test before earning the title of Marine.
Let's go, you don't have all day.
The Crucible is often defined as a culminating event at Parris Island. It occurs during the 10th week of training. It is a 54-hour training exercise that is comprised of 6 major events during the daytime and 2 events at night. The emphasis during the Crucible is teamwork.
Let's go!
They're going to be tested mentally, they're going to be tested physically. And then they're going to be tested in the sense of their commitment to one another in order to be able to succeed.
Run! Hurry up, pick your knees up and run!
No individual Marine can complete the Crucible by him or herself. The only way you can complete the Crucible is as a team.